Unit 2. What is Unit 2? Hydrothermal scheduling. For this unit, the objective is to study the optimal scheduling of hydrothermal systems. In the first unit, we have learned that only thermal systems. Here, both the combination of hydro and thermal systems. So that here made a objective as to study the optimal scheduling of hydrothermal systems. What are the topics in the hydrothermal scheduling? Optimal scheduling of hydrothermal system in the hydroelectric power plant models. What are the hydropower plant models? Large storage plants, runoff river plants, pump storage plants. These are all comes under this hydroelectric power plant models. And in this unit, we are also learn that what is the hydrothermal coordination and scheduling of hydro units in a hydrothermal system and coordination of runoff river plant and steam plant, that is long term scheduling, short term scheduling. So here in the syllabus given that scheduling programs under short term hydrothermal scheduling problem, but here we also have to learn long term scheduling also, because we have to know the difference between long term scheduling problem and short term hydrothermal scheduling problem. So that long term and short term. So in the long term scheduling problem, we have to know the long term coordination and the mathematical formulation of long term hydrothermal scheduling. Now coming to short term hydrothermal scheduling problem, here we have to learn constant hydro generation method, constant thermal generation method, maximum hydro efficiency method, and Kirchmeyer's method. So in the short term, we are defining four, that is constant hydro generation method, what is constant thermal generation method, what is maximum hydro efficiency method, and the mathematical analysis of Kirchmeyer's method. And for optimal scheduling, to know the optimal scheduling in hydrothermal, we have to do the mathematical model of this hydrothermal problems. And coming to outcome, what is the outcome for this hydrothermal scheduling? Understand the optimal scheduling of hydrothermal systems. That is, how can we optimize the combination of both hydro and thermal systems? This is about Unit 2. Next, Unit 3. What is Unit 3? Unit commitment. Unit commitment. So, learning objective for this unit commitment is to study the optimal unit commitment problem. Now, topics in the unit commitment are optimal unit commitment problem, that is comparison with economic load dispatch, and then need for unit commitment, and what are the constraints in unit commitment. There are so many constraints in the unit commitment, like spinning reserve constraint, thermal unit constraint, minimum uptime, minimum downtime, crew constraint, startup cost, hydro run constraint, must run constraint, fuel constraints. Like this, we are having so many constraints, so that we have to know the constraints in what are the constraints in unit commitment, and then cost function formulation, how the cost will be calculated, and solution methods. The solution methods: priority list scheme and dynamic programming method, and another method Lagrange's relaxation method. Here solution methods are priority ordering, dynamic programming are given, but in Lagrange's relaxation method will be studied in the first unit, so that it will be covered in first unit. We are not mentioned that topic here. So what are the methods here? Priority ordering, dynamic programming. So in the priority ordering method, we have to learn priority list scheme versus shutdown sequence, and then in the dynamic programming method, solution of an optimal unit commitment problem with dynamic programming method, procedure for preparing the unit commitment table using the dynamic program approach, mathematical representation of dynamic programming method. So finally, model problem on dynamic programming method. So by covering all these topics, we have an idea that what is the unit commitment and how the generators can be operated to meet the minimum cost and to generate the maximum power in megawatts. And the outcome for this unit 3 is, that is unit commitment, is computation of cost function formulation, because we are reducing the cost effectively, and understand the unit commitment problem, because what is unit commitment problem and their constraints. So this is all under unit 3. Next, unit 4. What is unit 4? Load frequency control. What is unit 4? Load frequency control. For this, learning objective is to study the load frequency control for single area system with and without controllers. Load frequency control for single area system with control and without controller. With control what happened and without control what happened. The topics under load frequency control are modeling of steam turbine, and that is turbine model. Next, generator, that is generator load model, and mathematical modeling of speed governing system, that is speed governing system operation, and transfer functions for this turbine model, generator load model, and speed governing system, and how the modeling of hydro turbine, and why necessity of keeping frequency constant. What is the importance of frequency should be maintained as constant, and definitions of control area, that is what is control area, and single area control system, that is what is single area control system, what it consists, and block diagram representation of an isolated power system. Next, what is steady state analysis and what is dynamic response, and uncontrolled case, that is here we have two cases, controlled case and uncontrolled case. Here if what it happens in uncontrolled case, and proportional plus integral control of single area and its block diagram representation, that is the combination of single area block diagram. If we place it the proportional integral control, that is PI control, then what should be the response? And finally steady state response. So for this the outcome is modeling of turbine generator sets, that is over control area, and understand the role of frequency. What should be happen if the frequency was changed? These are all comes under this unit 4. Next one is unit 5. What is unit 5? Load frequency controllers. That is 4 is load frequency control 1. This is load frequency control 2. Here the learning objective is to study the load frequency control for two area system with and without controllers. In the unit 4, load frequency control for single area system with controller and without controller. Here load frequency for control for two area system with controller and without controller. That is, here we combine two single areas by using tie line, so that here two area system with controller and without controller. So what are the topics under load frequency control 2 are block diagram development of load frequency control of two area system with uncontrolled case and load frequency control of two area system with controlled case, and what are the transfer functions, and what is tie line bias control. And final topic, load frequency control and economic dispatch control, that is why load frequency control and what is economic dispatch control and how it operates and from where it operates. So these are all comes under this unit 5, and the outcome of this unit 5 is significance of economic dispatch control, that is importance of economic dispatch control, and load frequency control in two area systems, that is combination of two single area systems by using tie line. This is unit 5, and the final unit, that is unit 6, is reactive power control. The learning objective for this reactive power control is to understand the reactive power control and compensation of transmission lines. So the topics under this reactive power control are overview of reactive power control, that is what is reactive power control and what was the problem will occur if there is any change in reactive power control, and how reactive power compensation is possible in transmission systems, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of different types of compensating equipment for transmission systems, and this compensated and uncompensated both will be there, and why load compensation required and how the load compensation will be done, and specifications of load compensator, that what are the specifications of load compensator, and uncompensated transmission lines and compensated transmission lines, that is shunt and series compensation. That is, if we place the compensators in parallel, what will happen, and if these compensators are placed in series, then what will happen, and need for FACTS controllers, that is flexible AC transmission system. that is what it contains, that fact controllers, and what the combination and what is the need of this fact controllers. These are all comes under this reactive power control, that is unit 6, and the course outcome is understand the reactive power control, that is how reactive power control can be done, and compensation of transmission systems, how we can compensate these things in transmission systems. So, these are all about this power system operation and control in briefly. So, in depth we are going to learn in the unit wise. Thank you.